Hi everyone, out here again at Orange County National. Today I'm working on my own game and I thought I'd throw the camera up just to share what I've been experiencing. I've been putting a lot of attention on just the quality of my transition over the last 3 months. I haven't played a ton and I haven't had a chance to work on it a ton. So I tend to go to the areas where I'm going to get most gains when I get a chance to work on things. And I've really found that working on some areas in my transition really helps backswing and delivery. And as much as I may see things in takeaway and through backswing that can be cleaned up later on, I see that as that would be a next phase. So instead of working early in the swing, I tend to focus on transition, and I've seen a lot of gain from that. Okay, so what I'm doing out here is I've got the Flightscope set up and I've got a camera just behind me set up as well. My keys in transition are, one, before I complete my backswing, the left hip is moving out the way. As it's moving out the way, I feel like I'm making a nice squat, okay? My tendency in backswing is to drift a little bit and move off like the imaginary wall that would be behind me. So essentially all I'm doing is feeling the opposite of what my pattern is. From there, I'm also just mindful of where the club is in space. And I like the feeling to get it into here where I can literally just move my chest onto the ball and get the club coming in the way that I want it to. As far as setup, for me, that's just fundamental. Always trying to set up the best that I can. A lot of that starts away from the golf course. So that's the feel there. Like I actually get a really nice feel around my right shoulder, halfway down. Feels like there's a lot of space between my right ear and my right shoulder when I do a good job. Okay, not my best there. Typically when I get it where I want it, it won't hang out to the right like that. Okay, so hung that one out right a little bit again there. Not too bad. Path consistent to the last one. I'm gonna have a look on the video there and see what happened. So look, I mean, in that first stage of the transition down, yeah, it just looks like I get a little narrow there in that first move, as far as you can see from the top. And my right arm is so, I mean, it's okay that it's pinned to the side, but I would like more space there in that phase. So I'm gonna just work on that in just a second, because I just think from face on, I'm getting a bit narrow. Now, typically I know my pattern from face on, that when I am getting narrow, and what I mean by narrow there, if I just step in here, is that for that shot that's just leaving just that slight fade, I'm getting out of the heel because I'm getting a little in there. So there's a little bit too much of a dominant shift with that upper body, and that's making it hard for me to really kind of get it out the middle of the club. So I'm just getting a touch out the heel, and that's why it's fading even with a draw path. So the feel I'm going to take to this one is, as I make my transition, just more with that pelvis, so I can feel a bit more space there. And like I mentioned before, that feel of the right shoulder not being so here, having like space between that right shoulder and my ear, that to me is a really good feel. I mean, I have in the past, because of that move, got like little niggly pains around that right neck area. And I really think it's purely because of that phase of the golf swing. So let's try another one. Just starting to rain a bit here, so hopefully I can get this all finished. So here, and then more with the pelvis, more space around that right elbow, shoulder, rib cage coming in. Let's hit a few, feeling that. That was a bit better. Let's see what comes up from the Flightscope on this one. Okay, so shallower, Be interested to see where the club was coming on the camera in that one. But straighter for sure. Felt like it was more off the middle of the face. Interesting. Let's hit another one. Felt good again. A little bit of a draw. That's the one that I like. I like that because I got the horizontal swing just a touch left. And I got a nice angle of attack. I mean, for around an 8 iron, anything 6 to 7 down is sort of what, that's where I like to be. I mean, it's got the face showing a little closed. But the biggest change there is obviously the vertical. So I think just because I had more space and I did a better job with the pelvis, this bit here, I had more room for my hand to work a bit more that way than this way. So you can see how that would affect the shaft if I was more this way as to doing a better job that way. Let's hit another one. Felt like I had a little bit too much right bend in that first part in transition. Yeah, that's why the path shifted a little bit more to the right and it was a touch shallower. All in all, pretty good hit. But for me, like I can tell that that's a position that my body seems to be finds really powerful, and it feels like I can move quite well into the ball from. So I really want to try and achieve that and see where that leads me in my golf game. I hit that really nice. Let's see what that one says.